Okay, welcome back. So in the last one, we did something with GreenSock. GreenSock is a really cool animation library for the web, and I think it's a really good starting point for some really serious coding. The reason I say that is because a lot of the things in GreenSock are vaguely similar to something called React. Oh, let's go back to the top here. There we go. React. React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. Okay, so what it allows you to do is build interactive interfaces, and it's all over the web, right? Loads of people use it. And the reason I want you to get onto React is because it's the way to find a job. Okay, if you look at front-end development, software engineering, any of that kind of stuff that involves front-end stuff, building for the web, they will probably ask you for React knowledge. Okay, so this is going to be very useful to you. It is complicated, which is why we did GreenSock before, and I hope you've had a bit of time playing with that and seeing how you can modify different elements, because this kind of stuff, all right, that's very basic, right? There's a lot of stuff that GreenSock can do, as it's showcased here on their homepage and in other places, all right? So there's loads of little cool stuff. So have a play with that before you get onto this video, if you haven't already. What we're going to do today is we're going to take our document here and we're going to turn it into a React library, a React component. Okay, we're just going to build a basic component with our tutorial. Get started in 5 minutes kind of thing. Try it. All right, cool. Off we go. Right, so what we need is just a blank state. So I'm just going to delete all of this. There we go. All right. I've recorded this video beforehand, so I've still got stuff leading around, so I'm just going to delete it so we can run through it fresh. All right, so let's add React to a HTML page in 1 minute. Right, okay, so first of all, we're going to just add this div, which is a like button container. Container, that's important. Remember that. Remember that bit? I'm just going to bump up the size here. Hopefully you can be all right for you to see it and move this across. No, I can't. All right, I'm going to have to just close that out of the way for now. Right, okay, so this has got, do you notice this has got a unique ID? You can only have one ID of something that's the same. You can't have two div IDs like button container on a page. That's not allowed. Okay, you will be able to do it, but it will not work. So this is a unique ID you can only have once on a page. All right, so we're going to add the script tags. Now these two things, I'm going to put them at the bottom because of the trouble I had last time with loading scripts. So you notice it got React and it's got React DOM. So React is a library we're going to be using, but it's not natively built to use the DOM or the HTML, the page that we're creating. To do that, you need the React DOM as well. Okay, and now we're going to just load a script for our like button. Come here, you. Right, and load that in at the bottom here. Now, so don't have that at the moment. So let's go and create it. New file. Like underscore button underscore container. Make sure it's the same name, of course. If not, it won't work. Right. Okay. All right. There we are. So this starter code. Here we are. Okay. Let me go through this and explain what it is. I don't need that anymore. Okay. So React, it's using JavaScript's strict mode. So strict mode, obviously, as it says, it's a bit more restrictive than your usual JavaScript, but I wouldn't worry about that for now. So now we're declaring a variable. Now we could have var here, but const is what's used in React by standard, and there's differences to those, which I hope I've explained before. If I haven't, please tell me. Okay, then it's using React. Here's the React library that it's using, and it's creating an element. So it's creating this element. Now this gets referenced later, so don't worry about it for now. Now, the next thing is that it's creating a class. What is a class? A class is just basically a function. So instead of doing function, my function like that, it is just basically class, my class, all right? It's slightly different, but actually underneath all of that, well, the way it looks, it is just using a function. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. It just looks a bit different. So this is basically a function, but the beauty of it is that it can extend things. So what is extending? The React component. So it's hooking into the React library that we added, and it's making it into its own thing. So it's adding on to React our own stuff. So the first thing we're doing, because it's a class, it's got a constructor, which is the way that it's set. It's just like this initial setup of that class, and you can hook into that. And what it's doing is it's setting a state here. What is state? Okay. So do you remember our little box on the page? Do you remember how it rotated when I clicked it? I won't do it now because I've probably broken it. But this, as you look at it now, that is the initial state of that box. Okay. When you clicked it, what did it do? It moved, didn't it? It moved 200 pixels to the right, and it changed color and did something else. And that, when you do that, it's the end state of that box. Okay. So it's the state of something. It's like something's dead or alive. It's got a different state. Okay. So the state is set. We've got a liked state. Did you like it? At the moment, it said the default setting is false. All right. Okay, now here's the render method. So here's what it's doing to create something on the page. So if this state is liked, then return, you liked this. So just a bit of text. Okay, so this is shorthand. Okay, so this actually means true. This is true. You have 3 equals because I'm saying it's strictly equal. All right. I'm not going to do that because that will set the state of liked to true. That's not what we want. Equals is kind of the same, and strict equals is it's got to be exactly a boolean of true. All right. Okay, but we're not writing that. It's just said that for shorthand. If you wanted to do false, okay, said it. Wanted to do something instead of that. You didn't like this. Then you write it like that. But you can also do this. All right. So that's like a negation, right? So it's not true, right? Because it's a boolean, you can do that. All right. It's true. It's not true. There you go. Let's put that back. Okay. So if this state liked is true, return you like this. Otherwise, if it's false, this is the default here. Return. Oh, look, it's our E. What's that? That is the React element. So what's this E doing? Okay. Here we got one of those weird functions. I'm just going to tidy this up so that we can see what's going on. So the element is going to be a button element, and it's got a parameter here of on click. So when you click said button, it'll do something. Right, okay, I'm just going to tidy this up because I want you to be able to see what it is. And doing this kind of thing, tidying up code, is actually very valuable indeed. You should try it because it forces you to think about it. Okay, so what's this doing here? This is right. Okay, this is that, and that's that. This is the other. Right, okay, there we go. Now, that's a bit tidier, isn't it? Now we can see what it's doing. Right, you can see that this button is changing this state value. It's changing it to true. So this set state, so it's setting the state to liked true. All right. And then this bit is what's inside the element. So we've told it what the element is. We've told it what it does. Now it's going to say what's inside it. And it's just a string that says like. Shall we see what it looks like? Let's go. It hasn't worked. Oh, darn it. It worked last time. What didn't it work? Okay, I think I might have forgotten a step. Ah, yes, of course. Right. Now we need to actually create the DOM container. So what we've done here is we've created a component. Now we need to attach that component to our page. See? It doesn't work like you can't just dump this in, it won't work because React doesn't understand what you want to do with this. So here we go. Right. So const DOM container. So this DOM container is equal to the document. Document is what? It's the HTML, the layout, the page. Right, query selector. We've seen that before, haven't we? Query selector is similar to get element by ID, except it's a bit wider than that. So we could actually, and then look, it's got a hash here. So what we could have is ID, like button to container, but they've just used this other syntax, okay? Document query selector and then hash. Hash means what? Yes, it's an ID. That's very similar to CSS, isn't it? So if you had a dot here, that would look for the classes like button container, but we're not doing that. We're doing hashes because we're using the ID. And then what it's doing is, let's bring this down a little bit more. So it's creating this. So it's in the root element, it's adding into it. So it's using this DOM container as the container or the place to put our element. Okay, so it's taking this. So this is our root element, and we're going to pop into it this button. So we could have another one here. And I'll create two, okay? We'll just create the like button. Now let's have a look at it. Okay, all right, why not? Let's have a look at the, right, did I do everything? Starter code, that's it. All right, okay, so we've got like button container. Have we not? Let me just make sure I've done that. Document query selected. Let's just copy that and paste that again here, because I might have changed the syntax without meaning to. Hello, hello. Anybody here? No. Okay. Okay, did I actually add it? Like, look at that. It's not like button container, it's a little like button. Of course, couldn't find it. If I'd looked at the network tab, it would have shown me that. Aha! Now we're cooking on gas. Look at that. It's a like button. It's exactly what it does in the tin. See, it's created a button that when I click it, it's going to change the state to liked as true. And then what's that's going to do? It's going to make this evaluate this one. So if this state like return, you liked this. Ta-da! Did you notice something interesting there? Did the page refresh? It didn't. So what's happened is you've gone from making, so you can return anything here. You can return another div. Oh, I don't know if you can actually, but you can. It means that basically you can actually do that. You can actually return something else, another e, which is equal to a div. And inside it says hello. I wonder if that'll work. Like, didn't work. Okay, all right, my mistake. Right, okay, but you can do stuff like that. So what React actually does is make it so that you don't have to change the page and refresh. You can just hit it and it'll actually update the DOM in place. And it's doing that in a very clever way, a very efficient way. So when you've got your button element, the button element is now gone because this is just returning a string of you like this, like that. Okay, cool, isn't it? Now, that's a lot of code for a very simple button, but with React, the possibilities are endless. It just goes on and on and on. The stuff that you can do, the things that you can build, it just gets incredibly complex to the place where you've got stuff like this, which is a whole React application that does, you can write content and you can create different things with it, and it updates and all this kind of stuff. This is all React. This is what it's done. And this one here, this is really the coolest thing. So you've actually got a full page editor experience in the browser. And that is done because React, basically, I don't know what we'd do if it wasn't React. Okay, I've loaded the wrong page, but never mind. You can see that I've got different elements. I can do renaming, can do typing in here, and loads of stuff, because this has a page got React in it. So React is very useful, and React is used kind of like, I'm not going to say ubiquitously, because it's not, right? It's not everywhere. There's plenty of cases where you wouldn't use React, and there are some, in fact, better tools out there today, even better than React. But a lot of people still use React because they don't see the need to change, and lots of people know it. So it's good enough for the job, basically. Is the thing. So I'd have a look at React. It's very important especially if you're seeking a career in web development, and you really want to build some really fab stuff. Then React has a lot of stuff going for it. It's even got a whole ecosystem. So if you go to React.parts, then you've got existing components like chart. You've got a chart library that you can pull in whole charts with, and you can do loads of cool stuff. Here's an example of those, and live examples here, and basically like a pie chart. Who doesn't love a pie chart? This is all rendered with React. Oh, it's actually in a sandbox. Okay, right. But you can do loads of cool stuff with it, and it's, you can, like, imagine you had like loads of data coming in, and you could render it like this. All right, so that's React. Have a look. I think we're going to do APIs next, and then Git. So there's a couple of other ideas that I've got. So hang around. I'll upload those soon, I hope.